Good evening. I would like to call to order the regular meeting of the Newport News School Board for Tuesday, June 16th, 2026. On behalf of the members of the school board and Dr. Mitchell, I welcome each of you present this evening and those of you who are watching on TV and online. And now I will call Ms. Kyla Leggett, our student representative to the school board, to introduce tonight's student guests for invocation and pledge.
Thank you, Chairman Dr. Best. We will begin tonight's meeting with the invocation and pledge to the flag. Here to do the honors is Mr. Robert White, Executive Director of Public Information and Community Involvement.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Best, Madam Vice Chairman Sally, members of the school board, and Superintendent Dr. Mitchell. I will say I'm not a student, but I am a student of life.
Okay.
So I'll start with that. It is my honor to open tonight with an invocation, and since it's my first time, I asked my colleagues and peers what I should do, and they all said about the same thing. Keep it short.
Okay.
So I've written a haiku in honor of summer break, and so I will start. Love, joy, and laughter, long are the days of summer, short are summer breaks. And that's my haiku. So, if you will please stand if able, and we will join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is school board recognitions. Dr. Mitchell, please join me at the podium.
Well, good evening, everyone, and happy Tuesday. Yay! I have the honor of presenting our recognitions this evening. We'll lead off tonight with an acknowledgement of service for Kyla Leggett, the student representative to the school board. In honor of her distinguished service to the school board and Newport News Public Schools, she's receiving a resolution, an award, and a gift. The resolution reads, whereas, resolution of recognition presented to Kyla P. Leggett. Kyla, come on down. Join us. I'm going to give her. Resolution of recognition presented to Kyla P. Leggett, 2025-2026 student representative to the Newport News School Board. Whereas the Newport News School Board approved in 2004 the creation of the position of student representative to the school board to increase board awareness of the views of students and to provide a peer with whom students could share ideas for improving education. And whereas Kyla P. Leggett, a senior at Minchville High School, was elected according to the approved procedures by the members of the Student Advisory Group on Education, also known as SAGE. And whereas Ms. Leggett served in this capacity from July 2025 through June 2026, faithfully attending meetings of the school board, and whereas Ms. Leggett served as the facilitator to the Superintendent's High School Student Advisory Group on Education meetings. And whereas Ms. Leggett actively sought student ideas on educational issues and pursued information and experience that would assist her in efforts to provide valuable insights during the discussion of the school board meetings agenda items. And oh, this is good, y'all. Whereas Ms. Leggett diligently fulfilled all of the duties of the student representative position, also while continued to excel in her advanced class coursework, participating in the United States Senior Youth Program, after being selected by the Virginia Department of Education, attending the highly competitive Virginia Summer Residential Governor School for Medicine and Health Sciences, co-founding the Sunflower Children's Hospital of the King's Daughters Junior Circle, leading her school's Health Education Advocacy League, serving as the president of the Model UN and as the captain of the archery team, and participating in other school organizations, including the National Honor Society, Science Honor Society, and Spanish Honor Society. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the School Board of Newport News that Kyla P. Leggett is to be highly commended for exemplary service, dedication, and commitment during her tenure as the student representative to the school board. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be spread across the minutes of this meeting for all to acknowledge. In witness thereof, we have hereunto set our hands the 16th day of June 2026, and it is signed by each school board member and the superintendent. Congratulations and thank you for your service, Kyla. Let's give it up for her. Yeah, we're gonna get a picture. Give me a sec. Yeah, we're gonna get a picture. Give me 1 second. Joining her tonight is her principal, Mr. Jason Holla. Where are you, Mr. Holla? Her family and friends with her this evening. If you could please stand. I would like to add that Ms. Leggett has been accepted to Harvard University for the fall, and we wish her all the best in her future studies. So thank you once again for being a servant leader, and we are so proud of you. Now we're going to get a picture. We're very proud to recognize that one of our students placed first in the 2026 Virginia School Board Association Tidewater Region Student Art Contest. Taking first place in the elementary school division was Kingston Brown L., a fourth grade student at Deer Park Elementary School, for his piece titled Me. Kingston, if you would please join me up front. The VSBA Regional Art Contest was established in 1989 to promote the artistic talents of Virginia's public school students. For each of the 9 VSBA regions, a winner is chosen for the elementary, middle, and high school levels. The Tidewater Region Art Contest was held in conjunction with the Regional Spring Networking Forum for area school board members who judged the entries on April 23rd. Congratulations, Kingston. Joining him tonight is his principal, Scott Meadows. Would you please stand? Family and friends, would you please stand as well? We want to say thank you for all your support. Now we're going to get a picture. Our next honorees are regional and state champions for the Virginia High School League spring season. Tonight, we're thrilled to recognize their achievements of these talented students and athletes. First, we have individual event regional and state champions for outdoor track and field. Please join me in congratulating them as their names are called for them to come forward. And students, please remain at the front until we take a photo. Region 3A champions from Heritage High School, Jelia Beasley in girls 100 meters hurdles, Terrace Bowen III in boys 400 meters, Marcus Dozier in boys high jump, Marcus Dozier in boys long jump, Marcus Dozier in boys triple jump. He can jump, y'all. Coach Jacqueline Bateman, please join us. Coach Carl Chandler, Coach Lawrence Kirkby, Coach Raymond Pollard, and Coach Chantel Powell. Come on up. Let's give them a hand of applause. Region 5B champions from Mitchfield High School. Malachi Finch in boys 100 meters, Michael Singletary in boys 300-meter hurdles, head coach Natalie Pierce, assistant coach December Hutchison. Please come forward. Our next student to be recognized is unable to be with us this evening. The Region 5B champion from Warwick High School, Nathan Coran, and his boys 1,600 meters and boys 3,200 meters. His head coach is James Highsmith, who is also unable to join us this evening. Region 5B champions from Woodside High School, Avaya Hampton in girls shot put. Come on forward. Anyea Hampton in girls am I pronouncing? Discus, I'm sorry, discus. Xavier Canfield Jr. in boys triple jump. Dontre Walls Jr. in boys 110-meter hurdles. Coach David Carey and Coach Marsha Parker, if you're with us, please come forward. Come on in. Okay. And we have a state champion in track. Please join me in congratulating Xavier Canfield Jr. from Woodside for his state Class 5 championship in the triple jump. Xavier won the title at the state track meet held on June 5th and 6th at Todd Stadium. His winning triple jump was a distance of 48 feet and 3.5 inches, and he added that to his state indoor track title in the same event this past winter. His coaches are David Gary and Marsha Parker. Congratulations. We would also like to thank the families and friends of our outstanding track and field athletes who may be with us this evening. If you would please stand. All right. And we would also like to acknowledge their administrators, Heritage Principal Dr. Dyron Ford, Assistant Principals Jose Petaway and Melissa Rose, and Athletic Director Jamie Plicker, Minchfield Principal Jason Holler, and Assistant Principals Dr. Nicole Arrington and William Huffsteckler, and Athletic Director Jennifer Nunnecombe. And Woodside Principal Dr. Mary Hardesty, Assistant Principals Gracie Foley and Michael Bellamy, and Athletic Director Eric Battle. Thank you for all your support. Now, if we could all come around and get a photo. Next, we would like to acknowledge the Menchville High School girls soccer team, which won the Region 5B championship. Please join me in congratulating them as their names are called for them to come forward. Kendall Bagwell, Evelyn Bell, Michaela Booth, Eamon Bird, Kaylin Candia, Ava Carter, Sarah Cash, Charlie Daltrey, Valentina Davila, Ariana Deval, Nadira Diggs, Noria Diggs, Cameron Eccleston, Sarah Hamilton, Addison Harris, Madeline Leach, Lily Maynard, Lalani Porter, Lizeth Sanchez, Caitlin Sakitono, Peyton Smith, Abby Watson, Autumn Williamson, and Licia Wright. Coach Douglas Diggs and Coach Clayton Patchett, please come forward. Congratulations, Menchville. We want to take a moment to acknowledge their families and friends, so if you're in the audience, please stand as well. Oh, don't be shy. Also, a big thank you to Menchville Principal Jason Holler and Assistant Principals Dr. Nicole Arrington and William Hustifler and Athletic Director Jenny Nuttycomb, and all for all your support. Now we're going to come up front and get a picture. Now we would like to recognize the Menchville High School boys soccer team, which won the Region 5B championship. Please join me in congratulating them as their names are called for them to come forward. Marvin Beeman, Lehman Bitar, Aiden Blatchard, Ariane Butachi, Joshua Centeno, Caleb Chattert, Bryce Filumi, Liam Forbes, Devin Gaskin Spearman, Giselle Gomez Sutatute, am I saying that correctly? William Gorton, y'all bear with me. Thomas Gurganus, Nathan Harvey, Armando Maladando, Michael Morello, Charles Morale, John Neville, Niles Ocasio, Ian, I think I'm pronouncing this right, Pereira, Solomon Sanford, Jude Smith, Caden Stevens, Ethan Stufel, Luke Stufel, Jackson Wells, Chase Wilson, head coach Bryce Fail, assistant coach AJ Casanyu, and assistant coach Ethan Larson. Congratulations, come forward. I like your shirts. We want to take a moment to acknowledge their families and friends who are in the audience. Would you please stand? Again, we would like many thanks to their building principal, Jason Holler, assistant principals, Dr. Nicole Arrington and William Husteckler, and athletic director, Jenny Nuttingcombe, for all their support. Let's huddle in the middle and get a picture. All right.
Tallest in the back, please, and then.
Yes. For all of our VSHL spring honorees, we would like to congratulate and acknowledge the support of the NNPS Athletic Director, Mr. Lee Martin, for all that he does each day to support their success. Thank you, Mr. Martin. Give our round of applause. So NNPS family, at this time, we're going to take a short break so our presenters and guests and their families may leave. If they wish to do so, you're certainly welcome to stay. We'll stand in recess, a brief recess at this time. Thank you.
During our regular meetings, we provide time for the public to address the school board. These opportunities are scheduled in the early part of our agenda and towards the end of our meeting. As advertised, citizens may submit comments via email up to 30 minutes prior to our meeting time to be included in the official meeting record. For those of you joining us in person, the board considers this an opportunity to listen to your comments. Please understand that we will consider your concerns. We ask that you comply with our 3-minute time limit. As you begin your comments, a green light will come on. A yellow light signals that you have 30 seconds remaining, and a red light and beep indicates that your time is up. As your name is called, please come forward. Our first speaker is Reverend Natalie Chamberlain, and she will be followed by Mrs. Jackie Patterson.
Good evening. I'm Reverend Natalie Chamberlain, pastor of Hilton Christian Church. I have been coming now for getting on toward 3 years, and all y'all know me now. I come to speak for those, not for them, but with the students that are part of the LGBTQIA community, and I'm so grateful for the stand that this school board has taken to be sure that all the students in your district are being protected, and I'm very grateful for that. Tonight is the last school board meeting that I will be attending, as I am retiring and moving to Oregon, and it's a bit of a commute, so I won't be coming. I do want you to know that Hilton Christian Church, the congregation that I've pastored for the past 8 years, is very much interested in standing with and for the students of your district, and so members of my congregation will continue to be present at these meetings. I do truly appreciate all that you do, and I am grateful for the protections that you have offered. And I will close my last statement with a benediction. May you find time for rest and refreshment this summer, and may the peace that comes from work well done be yours, and may what comes ahead be filled with good things.
Thank you. And Ms. Batterson will be followed by Tamika Gatlin.
My name is Jackie Batterson, and I am a resident of Newport News and a member of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of the Peninsula. My fellowship interacts with kindness, and we strive to build racial and social justice in our communities and the wider world. It's interesting that when someone in our community wears the shirt with love on it, that triggers some folks. At the last board meeting, I heard a woman state that she did not want her child to go to school where they teach transitioning. That is not a thing and should be taken out of your vocabulary. Since I have been attending these meetings, I have had the opportunity to meet many teachers in the school system. You are fortunate that you have such caring professionals working with children. These teachers have too much to do keeping decorum in the classroom and teaching the curriculum they have been given in order to make sure that the students are ready to move on to another grade, school, college, or the workforce. They do not have time to be indoctrinating children in the classroom. I find it discouraging that there are people who spend their time trying to take rights away from others and disparaging vulnerable communities. People who attend pride events only to pass judgment on others instead of participating in the joy of others around them. When I am asked my political views, I say that they are that I want people to be alive and to have the life that they need. Apparently, that is controversial. If you consider yourself a religious person, then you might follow the law that states, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself." If you find yourself trying to take rights away from others, you are not following that directive. I will end with this quote. If you don't want your child to be gay or trans, then don't have kids. Your child is not a Build-A-Bear. You don't get to pick and choose these things about your child. You are not ready to be a parent if you aren't able to love them unconditionally. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Ms. Tamika Gatlin, and she will be followed by Ms. Nancy Meadows.
Hello, everybody.
Good evening.
I was coming to talk about our contracts that we received for the past 2 years, and I know after COVID, it was a lot that happened as far as having to pay us, regardless of us not being here, or we was given options to do furlough. But in the contracts for the past couple of years, has had the clause in here about furlough, and it makes me a little uneasy because it makes it seem as if at any given moment you can affect my bottom line because your bottom line is affected. And with that being said, I know y'all have a budget, and is there any budget where you have an emergency fund or a backup plan for the day that comes that we may have that again? Because there's a lot of employees who work here. I'm not the only one that feel with the furlough and the clause, it make us feel like you can say today, oh, we're gonna be off, and you're not gonna get paid for it. You can't use your time for it because we have to consider our budget. That's uncertainty on our bottom line, our families paying our bills and making sure that we stay afloat. Also in the contract, it was lack of hours being showed in the contract that should have been there. It had our pay, and that's great, but making sure that I'm still going to receive my contracted hours should be in there, because again, we've had situations where, well, this doesn't say that in the book, but this is how we've been doing it. But because it is not in the book, now we're going to utilize this rule because it's in favor of us. To me, at any given moment, you can say, well, we can take you back down to the 5.5 or take away your 6.5 that you've been getting. So I'm just asking for a lot of clarity on my contract to make me feel safe as far as being here as an employee who will be here now, July, in fact, 21 years. And I would like to continue, but I don't want to continue with the stress on my back of feeling like you can just change the rule whenever you get ready. And that's what that one clause, especially the furlough part, really explains. Like, it's been in there. And again, I signed it last year, and I was like, okay, I give everything to God. So for me, it was like, I'm gonna give it to God. I'm not gonna stress it, but I'm like, it's there again. And with the climate in our political climate and how things are being slashed, and I understand that, I just want to feel like when I sign a contract that it's going to secure me as an employee to make sure that I'm still going to be able to meet my obligations on my end for my household. So, and also clarifying, like, it did say hours, the pay is there. It was another one, and I'm sorry, I forgot about that one, but those were our main concerns about furloughing and making us feel like we're not secure here anymore. So.
Thank you. Ms. Nancy Meadows, and she will be followed by Gina Bowman.
Hello, thank you. My name is Nancy Meadows, and I thank you for allowing me to come to speak concerning the JB-P policy. The new policy states, and I quote, "A plan may include addressing the student at school with their name and pronoun consistent with their gender identity, while using the legal name and the pronoun associated with their sex assigned at birth when communicating with parents and guardians." End of quote. With this policy change, appears to be encouraging schools and students to lie to their parents because you consider the parent to be non-affirming. That's a fancy word for a parent who simply says no. It is the right of every parent to say no because they have the right to raise their child according to their beliefs. The parents are the ones who will have to deal with the repercussions of any manipulating that might be done with these kinds with these kids and the secrets that appears to be encouraged for them to keep. Your new policy also states, and I quote, if schools maintain separate restrooms, locker rooms, or other facilities that males and female students, they'll be allowed to use a facility that corresponds with their gender identity, end quote. This means that male students will be allowed into female locker rooms and restrooms, and vice versa. This is now a rule for kindergarten to 12th grade. Why are we busy pushing political agendas and personal ideologies onto our children instead of making sure they have a strong educational foundation? Why aren't we focused on reading, writing, and math skills? This policy does more harm than good. You may not see the damage now, but we will if someone is hurt because it was allowed for gender identity to override biological sex. It appears you have gone behind the backs of parents of the Newport News schools and grandparents as well. We will make it our personal mission to make sure the public is made aware of your choices. That means I'm done, right? Thank you.
Thank you. Gina Bowman will be followed by Adam Lugring.
Good evening, members of the school board. My name is Gina Bowman. I'm speaking on behalf of Adina Rivera, who could not be here tonight. Everything I am saying is written from her directly with my support. She has previously spoken on the opposition to the JBP policy change. The policy was changed in May and made public in June. There were definite red flags from how the policy was changed that do not make the public feel that you can trust them. The policy was changed without a public vote, decided on behind the scenes, and the people in favor of the policy being changed were the only ones who had knowledge of the change before the new document was published on your website. This raises serious concerns about which people on the board are tipping off the supporters of this policy change. This is highly inappropriate and unfair to the people who may oppose the change. Since you did not notify the public of the policy change, the public was not given a proper opportunity to object or agree with the decision. When the public feels like they have no voice, they lose trust in you. When trust is lost in the school system, parents will start to pull their children out of public school and seek alternate forms of education. The enrollment for Newport News Public Schools has declined over the years and will continue to do so because of this policy change. Last month, one of the speakers said, if you do not agree with the policy change, you have the ability to homeschool your children or send them to a private school that aligns with your beliefs. This is a very small-minded way of thinking. It implies that everyone who does not agree with the policy change has other options. That is a huge generalization. Not everyone has the opportunity for one parent to be able to stay home, teach the children, and other one work. Not everyone has enough money to live in one-income households or send their children to private school. For many parents, public education is the only option. All those that oppose the policy change are not all going to be in comfortable income brackets. The suggestion that they have alternative options for education is a very uneducated blanket statement. So the new policy makes it a choice for the schools to include the parents. So we need to teach the students how to think and not what to think. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Lugring will be followed by Ms. Keshonda White Mazel.
Hi, that's fine, it's unpronounceable. My name is Adam Luring. I was here last month and heard a lot of comments. There were about 20 people last month showed up to speak in favor of the change you all made, getting rid of Youngkin's rules, being more supportive of trans people. I really appreciate that. Obviously, there are some people who are still opposed to it. So I thought I might just take it from the top. I try not to assume malice where ignorance will do, so I'm going to go through the basic difference between biology and gender, if that's all right. There are three concepts that people tend to invoke and conflate when they bring out the topic of biological sex. These three are karyotypic or genotypic sex. In humans, this is like what chromosomes you have. Often this is XX or XY, but there are 17 observed combinations that you see in humans, and you can actually have more than one of those combinations through chimerism or mosaicism. What we most commonly refer to as biological sex, what a biologist will generally call biological sex, is the dimorphism in gametes, which are the haploid cells that turn into embryos. A human can have 0, 1, or theoretically 2 of these. A prepubescent child, someone who is medically impotent or infertile, or someone who is postmenopausal, may not have gametes at all. So this is, again, that is the second way of defining sex that does not divide humans cleanly into two sexes. Phenotypic traits are those associated with sex. These are primary sexual characteristics. We'll go into that since we have children here. And secondary sexual characteristics like facial hair. A person can have traits from both sexes, again. Often intersex people are erroneously labeled male at birth. These kinds of errors are the reason that people who are advocating for queer issues talk about someone being assigned male at birth or assigned female at birth. That is not an attempt at euphemism or obfuscation, equivocation. It's just a necessary biologically grounded clarification, because if you didn't make it, you would be getting things wrong. Separate from biological sex is the social construct that sociologists call gender. Now, I'm aware that previously in our society, there has been another meaning of the word gender. The word has more than one meaning, so thought police are not going to come get you if you sometimes use the other meaning of the word gender. But when we're talking about transgender rights, we mean the modern academic sociological definition, which is intersubjective, mutable, and culturally contingent. If you went to a Scottish wedding, you would not tell the groom to change out of his skirt, because you know that what is considered appropriate for a man or woman is culturally contingent. These things change all the time, and we're just asking people to stop making the fallacious mistake of reasoning from the idea that sex and gender are the exact same thing. I'll wrap it up there and say that I'm just very grateful that you all are trying to stand up for trans people in this community. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kashonda White-Mazel will be followed by Ms. Ivana Jones.
Good evening, Board and Superintendent. Respectfully, we stand here together to advocate for my child, Deshauna Mazel. She is not a prop. She is not a symbol. She is a child with a name, a voice, and rights that deserve to be protected. No one here is barking. We're not dogs. We are parents, family members, community members who have spent months seeking justice for my child who has been harmed and failed by our school system and the justice system. Referring to a child who has been victimized as a prop is disrespectful, demeaning, unacceptable. Such remarks diminish the seriousness of concerns being raised and the very impact that these circumstances have had on my daughter and our family. Let's be transparent. Tell us how you really feel, because if you don't have any children of your own who have been through this type of pain, you cannot fathom what we are going through. Where's your humility? I sincerely hope that no child has to ever endure the situations that my daughter has faced. I have bundles full. Everything has been documented. We have recordings of what has been said, what was promised, and unfortunately the silence, disrespect, dismissive attitudes, and condescending responses we have received from everyone. For more than half of a school year, you have had the authority to address the failures that harmed my child, to ensure appropriate accountability with the removal of the 3 individuals whose actions set all the events following December the 19th, 2025, surrounding my daughter in motion. The incarceration, the increase in depression, anxiety, her night terrors, her self-harming, her uncertainty, her ability to trust adults and police, PTSD, along with trauma. No justice has been provided to my 12-year-old child. I hope a review of actions and inactions of everyone is done accordingly. No one should use their position or influence to harm others. My hope is that the public will clearly see what responsibility was neglected and where opportunities to do the right thing were missed. Even if these failures began before they reached this board, once they reached you, you had a duty to act. You had a duty to protect a child. You had a duty to do what was right. Those entrusted with public responsibility must also be prepared to accept accountability for their decisions and actions as well. As the good book says, whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. We'll be waiting your response and at the conclusion of this meeting, as always, respectfully.
Good evening, school board members and superintendent. My name is Ivana Jones. I am the eldest sister of Deshauna Mazel. I am a former graduate of Woodside High School and an active member of the United States Navy. Our sister Elijah Jones is also a former graduate of Warwick High School and currently attends Hollins University in Roanoke on a full academic scholarship. Tonight, we stand with our family and community in support of our baby sister Deshauna. I am not here to disrespect anyone. I am here to state the facts. If the facts make anyone uncomfortable, that says a lot about the situation we are facing. Unfortunately, my sister has now been physically injured at 2 different schools. The most recent incident occurred at Hines Middle School. I will say that my mother has worked hand in hand with the staff and administration there, and they have done a good job communicating with our family. However, the same cannot be said for the school resource officer nor the officer supervisor. Once again, we ask, where's the justice? My sister is still dealing with the effects of a concussion and is unable to actively participate in basketball, a sport she loves. No one seems to care about the long-term impact that the actions and failures of adults have had and may continue to have on her life. What message are we sending to students when rules and laws appear to be enforced only when it is convenient? Accountability should apply equally to everyone. Our family will continue to fight for Deshauna and for every student who has experienced or is currently experiencing similar treatment. We refuse to be silent, and we refuse to give up justice for Deshauna.
Thank you. Mr. Jameer Brown, and he will be followed by Mr. Frank Richardson.
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Jameer Brown. I'm the director of bands at Heritage High School, downtown Newport News. I'm actually here today not to raise a concern, but actually here to give thanks. I'm here joined by DeAndre Ward, who's one of my seniors in the band program. Also attended Crittenden Middle School. Audrey Stigpen, who's also a senior at Heritage High School in the band program. Our upcoming drum major for next year, she attended Huntington Middle School. And Mr. Mason, who served this past year as the band director at Huntington Middle School. We're here to say thank you on a multitude of reasons. As most people know, we have had an experience unlike any other school, probably on the East Coast. I only know one other school who's been able to do the things that we've been able to do. And I just wanted to come and say thank you and understand that it doesn't go unseen. When we hold events, band battles, band competitions, drum competitions, field show competitions, I see you all at the events, and that means a lot. The kids notice it. The kids love it. Dr. Best, I think you've been to almost everything we've done this year, which we really appreciate. And the kids always look. And when you all came in today, they were like, oh, I know them. So we just wanted to say thank you. Now, what we're giving thanks for, just within the past, I think it's 2.5 years, my students performed and represented the state of Virginia in the National Independence Day Parade in Washington, D.C. We've performed at a Washington Wizards NBA basketball game. That was a separate occasion, so it's 2 times they went to Washington, D.C. After that, we had the privilege of taking the band to Rome, Italy, which, once again, we were here, and you all helped a lot. I really want to give thanks for that. You all ensured that the students were able to go, and when things got tight, you all stepped in and made sure that the students had everything that they need. Dr. Best also came through in the last hour to ensure that every student had a jacket, because we went during wintertime, and making sure that everybody was warm. And any students who did not have luggage, she ensured that they all had suitcases and things of that sort. After we did that, we were able to take the band to Philadelphia in Thanksgiving. We were on TV for the Philadelphia Thanksgiving Day Parade. Once we completed that, just recently, a couple weeks ago, we went down to Atlanta, and the band performed pregame for the Atlanta Hawks NBA team. We were able to also take the students to the Atlanta Aquarium, the World of Coca-Cola. I feel like I'm missing something, but we just really wanted to say thank you for allowing our students to have this experience, and just say thank you for the impact that you all have had on the students at our 5800 family of Heritage High School. And in closing, I just wanted to say we made these thank you cards for everyone on the board, so that way you all could, whenever you have time, look, and I guess my time's up. Thank you all.
Thank you.
It was 6 flags, by the way.
Thank you. Mr. Frank Richardson.
Dr. Best, members of the school board, I haven't been here in a couple years, so I looked up on the AI website today and looked at the statistics for Newport News and the state of Virginia for math and reading proficiency. And for Newport News, it said 52% for math, for reading was 54%. For the state of Virginia, 68% for math, and for reading is 70%. So as an Air Force retired colonel, if I was doing 50%, I'd be out of the Air Force. I wouldn't have made it for 28 years in the Air Force. And we got to do something different. You've heard a lot of issues discussed tonight, and I consider that not part of the core issue, because I don't know who's black, who's white, who's gay, who's straight, on the 50% who didn't or wasn't able to read or write. And I believe the school board should be focused on that core issue, because you can't solve some of the problems that you heard here tonight with home issues or personal issues or gender issues, because when you walk in the class as a 6-year-old, all I want to know is, teacher, please treat me with respect, and I'll be nice to you too, because my mom's going to beat me with a switch if I get home and be disrespectful to an adult. So, you know, be all you can be. You know, I learned a long time ago that America is a place where you can resolve to be whatever you want to be. I spent 28 years in the Air Force, 26 different countries. I spent 2 weeks in Egypt last 2 months ago. Saw these kids, they could speak English, 10 years old. How many people here can speak Arabic and English? I couldn't speak the Arabic. I tried to speak a few words, tried to be nice, but people are beautiful all over the world. But their economic status is a whole lot different than America. And 90% of Americans are considered rich when you look at the rest of the world. So my focus is, how do we get 50 to 100% of the folks who come to school to read and write? Because that's your core mission. And please focus on that core mission. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments and thoughts this evening. We will now move to Section 3, the consent agenda, which includes 3.01, minutes from the work session, May 19th, 2026, 3.02, minutes from the regular meeting, May 19th, 2026, 3.03, minutes from the special meeting, June 2nd, 2026, 3.04, financial reports, including the revenue and expense reports for May 2026, child nutrition reports, 3.05, the personnel report, 3.06, VDOE authorization of signature in absence of division superintendent, 3.07, Boys and Girls Club at Hydenwood MOU agreement, 3.08, annual and biannual policy approvals, 3.09, budget transfers. At this time, can we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Are there any questions or discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair, for 3.07 Boys and Girls Club at Hydenwood MOU agreement, when I know that I've had quite a few constituents over the years reach out regarding the Hydenwood community, and one has been focused a lot on light pollution. And with this MOU agreement, I'd like to find out what the agreement actually shares for the community.
Madam Chair, I can answer that question. The partnership or the MOU with the Boys and Girls Club will consist of staff from the Boys and Girls Club being at Hydenwood at 7 in the morning for parents to be able to drop children off for before care, and the students then will proceed to class during instructional time, of course. And then after school has dismissed, the students then for after school care would return to the designated space within the building. So parents will be able to have before care and after care. Actually, it's an amazing price. It's $25 annually and then $25 per month. They will have enrichment activities within the building. They may go outside and play on the playground, but there will not be any type of construction, added lights, or anything of that nature.
Okay. And then I know it says you or your designee for the MOU, and I know usually that's Mr. Fairhart who does most of that negotiation.
Actually, the 3.06 authorization for signature in the absence of the superintendent is Dr. Rogers. That's not connected to the MOU.
Okay.
I will sign the MOU.
Okay.
Once if you, the board approves.
Okay. Thank you very much for that update.
Any other questions or comments? Ms. Buffalo, call the roll, please.
Brown.
4.
Harris.
4.
Hunter.
4.
Searles Law.
4.
Amon.
4.
Alger.
4.
Best.
4.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. We will move to section 4, action items, new and revised policies. Dr. Mitchell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you recall, Ms. Tracy Brooks has been working very closely with the policy committee. There are 2 board members and then a variety of other individuals on the policy committee, and Ms. Brooks comes before you and presents the work of the committee. So we are asking at this time that you will approve the new and revised policies.
Okay, at this time, we will have a motion to approve the new and revised policies.
I move to approve the new and revised policies as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved in second to approve the new and revised policies as presented. Any questions?
Madam Chair, I just, in the interest of making sure the public understands what we're voting on, this is Chapter D that we're going, which is part of our our 5-year plan where we go through our whole policy book. So this action is for Chapter D policies, which is our fiscal management policies. So I just wanted to make that comment so then folks know that we're talking about Chapter D and we're not revising the whole policy book.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Anyone else? Ms. Buffalo, please call the roll.
Brown.
4.
Harris.
4.
Hunter.
4.
Searles Law.
4.
Amon.
4.
Alger.
4.
Best.
4.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. We will now move to 4.02, federal funding applications. Dr. Mitchell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Last month, Dr. Oliver, who is our Director of Federal Programs, presented to you a proposed plan for the funding that we do receive for federal, from the federal government. She walked you through what the proposal would be, which schools would benefit, keeping in mind that the schools that would benefit have to meet a certain criteria. She did share with you those schools that no longer were eligible. So at this time, we are asking that you will approve the plan that was presented to you regarding the proposed federal funding spending.
Thank you. We have a motion.
I move to approve the federal funding application as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we approve the federal funding application as presented. Any questions?
Are we actually going to get the money?
Any comments?
Are we actually going to get it, the money?
And hearing none, Ms. Buffalo, please call the roll.
Brown.
4.
Harris.
4.
Hunter.
4.
Searles Law.
4.
Amon.
4.
Alger.
4.
Best.
4.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. We will now move on to section 4.03, personnel actions. Dr. Mitchell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Tonight, I am pleased to present the following recommendations for your consideration for positions that are currently vacant, most of them due to individuals getting promotions. So I begin tonight with the recommendation of Dr. Eleanor Blow for the position of Chief Schools Officer. Dr. Blow does hold a doctorate of education in educational leadership and policy studies from Virginia Tech, and she currently serves as our Director of High School Leadership here in Newport News. Next, I'd like to present Ms. Irene Cooper with the recommendation as the Director of Budget and ERP. Ms. Cooper holds a Master of Accounting and Financial Management from DeVry University and currently serves as our Supervisor of Budget. Next, I'd like to bring forward to you Ms. Charisse Boyd for consideration as an Administrative Assistant at Hydenwood Elementary School. She currently holds a Bachelor's of Science in Education degree from Old Dominion University and currently serves as a teacher at Saunders Elementary. Moving forward, I would also like to recommend Miss Amber Kamua for the position of Administrative Assistant at Sedgefield Elementary. She holds a Bachelor's of Science degree in Elementary Education from Elizabeth City State University, and she currently is a teacher at Hydenwood Elementary. Next, I would like to recommend Ms. Nicolette Krause for the role of Assistant Principal at Stony Run Elementary School. She holds a Master's of Arts degree in teaching from Christopher Newport University, and she also has an Administrative Leadership endorsement from Longwood University and currently is serving as an Administrative Assistant at Sedgefield Elementary School. Ms. Sharon Purnell is currently the Assistant Principal at Knollwood Meadows, and I am recommending appointment of Ms. Purnell as Principal of Knollwood Meadows. She does hold a Master's of Science degree in Educational Leadership and Supervision from Old Dominion University, and she currently serves as the Assistant Principal at Knollwood Meadows Elementary. And finally, I present Mr. Edmund Rhett for consideration as Assistant Principal at Sanford Elementary School. He holds a Master's of Science in Educational Leadership and Administration, K-12, from Old Dominion University and has been a teacher and currently serves as an instructional technology coach. And I'd like to say that these recommendations do reflect individuals with strong educational backgrounds, demonstrated leadership, and a commitment to student success.
Thank you, Dr. Mitchell. You've heard the recommendations. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve Superintendent's personnel recommendations for Dr. Eleanor Blow as the Chief Schools Officer, Ms. Charisse Boyd as Administrative Assistant at Hydenwood Elementary, Ms. Irene Cooper as the Director of Budget and ERP Department, Ms. Amber Kamua as the Administrative Assistant at Sedgefield Elementary, Ms. Nicolette Krause as the Assistant Principal at Stony Run Elementary, Ms. Sharon Purnell as the Principal at Knollwood Meadows, and Mr. Edmund Rhett as the Assistant Principal at Sanford Elementary School.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second that we approve Dr. Mitchell's recommendation for personnel. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, Ms. Buffalo, call the roll, please.
Brown.
4.
Harris.
4.
Hunter.
4.
Searles Law.
4.
Amon.
4.
Alger.
4.
Best.
4.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. We will now move to section 5, reports and information. 5.01, the 2026-27 student fees. Dr. Mitchell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I'm going to ask Dr. Kip Rogers, our Chief Academic Officer, to come. As you know, every year we have someone come before you to share with you the proposed student fee schedule for our new year, which will be 2026-2027. Dr. Rogers?
Thank you, Dr. Mitchell. Good evening, Dr. Chairwoman, Dr. Best, Vice Chair, Mrs. Alger, members of the board. This evening, I am going to share the proposed student fees for the 2026-27 school years Dr. Mitchell just shared. The presentation is similar to what you've received in the past years, and it outlines our fee setting processes, our commitment to equity, as well as the specific changes by program area. We begin our annual fee review by collecting requests from schools as well as departments, and they are carefully reviewed in collaboration with the Department of School Leadership, Teaching and Learning, as well as Budget and Finance. Principals and supervisors are given opportunity to provide input, and once finalized, the fee schedule is then shared on the NNPS website. Now, we do want to emphasize that no student is ever denied access to resources or participation due to inability to pay. We do have support services that are available to assist our families who are in need, including flexible payment options. So the slide you see in front of you are for our middle school students in the arts. Those fees cover instructional resources as well as materials. Things like art, chorus, and theater classes carry a nominal fee of $5 per year or per semester, depending on the grade level. Band and orchestra resource fees remain unchanged at $10 each per year, and previous instrumental rental fees were $35 for the first year and then $50 every year afterwards. That cost has changed to $50 a year in order to keep up with the rising costs that are associated with instrument repairs. Uniform costs for band, chorus, and orchestra programs do vary by school, and that's because of the various types of uniforms that are at each school, such as warm-up gear, polo shirts for concerts, as well as formal assessment attire for competitions. Now for high school, at the high school level, the structure is very similar to that of the middle school. Our fees for art classes are $7.50 per semester. Theater courses carry a $10 fee per year. Instrument rental follows the same model as middle school, with middle school students paying $50 a year. Uniform costs associated for band, chorus, and orchestra programs are also varied by school for the same reasons that were mentioned for our middle school students. Our career and technical education as well as iSTEM programs. Our middle school students that are enrolled in technology, engineering, business, or consumer sciences courses will continue to see modest fees ranging from $3 to $6, depending on the grade level and the course type. Those fees cover consumable materials as well as hands-on instructional supplies. Our CTE and iSTEM at the high school level. For high school CTE programs, fees remain consistent as they have been in past years, and semester courses carry a $5 fee, while year-long courses are still set at $10 each. Those support materials in areas such as engineering, business, medical sciences, as well as trades education. Now for our technology replacement costs. Technology replacement costs reflect the actual cost of lost or damaged items. So for example, AC adapters are $20 each, protective cases for computers are $10 each, and LCD screen replacements are $45 each. Full device replacement for damage beyond repair or theft is capped at $480. Now for driver's education and physical education, our driver's education behind the wheel remains at $225 for Newport News Public School students and $325 for non-Newport News Public School students. Physical education items such as locks are provided for students at no charge, with a $5 replacement cost if they're lost. Heart rate monitors are also provided for students with up to a $150 charge if they are lost or damaged, and charger replacement for the monitors are $15. Relative to textbooks, fees for lost or damaged textbooks, library books, and calculators are calculated based on the prorated value of that particular item. And this does ensure fairness based on the item's age as well as the condition at the time of loss. Student tuition rates. Out-of-state division, and non-Virginia resident tuition rates are adjusted each year. For the 2026-27 school year, the rate for out-of-division students is $7,024, and for non-Virginia residents, it's $15,523. Those prices reflect incremental increases over recent years. Tuition waivers, easy for me to say, remain available for students of NNPS employees that are subject to review each year. And in closing, this does conclude the overview of our student fees for this coming school year, and we welcome to answer any questions that you may have and appreciate your continued support of ensuring that we have access and opportunity for all of our students.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers.
Of course.
Any questions? Dr. Rogers, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Don't call me late for dinner. I'm good.
Any questions? I do have a question, and it wasn't in there, so I'm thinking it's somewhere else, so I guess you could answer that. Regarding cheerleading outfits, I've heard a couple of comments regarding that. Where does that fall, and how does that work?
That would be in athletics. With that.
So that will fall under athletics.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And you can get back with this
We
later.
can
It
get
just
with
popped in because you were talking about fees, and a parent had talked to me about fees, and I just wasn't aware, so.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah, we
you.
can get that information and share it with you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Anyone else? Thank you, Dr. Rogers.
Of course.
Thank you.
We will now move to Section 5, Reports and Information, 5.02, Rights and Responsibilities Handbook. Dr. Mitchell?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. As is customary, we have someone come before you to share any revisions to the Rights and Responsibilities Handbook, or I should say any proposed revisions to the Rights and Responsibilities Handbook. So this evening, Dr. Shayla Woodard, who is our program administrator, will come and share with you some of the revisions, and there are not many, but I will say that this handbook really does serve as a foundational resource for students, families, and staff. It outlines very clear communication expectations, rights, responsibilities, and supports and division procedures. Thank you, Dr. Woodard.
Good evening, Madam Chair Bass, Vice Chair Alger, members of the school board, and Dr. Mitchell. Tonight I am presenting the proposed revisions for the 2026-2027 Newport News Public Schools Rights and Responsibilities Handbook. These updates improve clarity, align with current policy and legislation, and make the handbook more accessible for students, families, and staff. You all have received a printed draft version, and an electronic version will be shared following this meeting. The Rights and Responsibilities Handbook is a foundational resource for our school community. It outlines expectations, rights, responsibilities, safety procedures, discipline processes, and available supports. Most importantly, it promotes consistency and transparency across Newport News public schools so families, students, and staff have a shared understanding of expectations and the resources available throughout the school year. The revision process was guided by the Rights and Responsibilities Handbook Committee, which included The handbook is much more than a discipline document. It includes school and division information, attendance and transportation procedures, family engagement resources, annual notices, student and parents' rights, multi-tiered systems of supports information, bullying prevention, athletics expectations, the code of conduct, dress code, cell phone policy, and discipline procedures. The goal of this revision process was to make the handbook more user-friendly and practical so families can use it as an ongoing reference throughout the year rather than only reviewing it when concerns arise. While the handbook does include the code of conduct and information related to student behavior, it is important to recognize that the majority of students are doing the right thing every day. As of May 22nd, 2026, Newport News Public Schools had a unique enrollment of 26,937 students. These are students who have enrolled in Newport News Public Schools during the 2025-2026 school year that may or may not still be enrolled. Of those students, 19,959 have had 0 discipline referrals this school year. That represents approximately 74% of our student population. That data is important because it reminds us that this handbook is not solely about discipline. It is also about creating safe, supportive, and successful learning environments where expectations are clearly communicated and students are positioned for success. The revision process was guided by the Rights and Responsibilities Handbook Committee, which included administrators, teachers, parents, community members, and students. Together, we reviewed policies, procedures, discipline data, and handbook language to identify areas where expectations could be clearer, more consistent, and easier for families to understand. At this time, I would like to ask committee members who are present to please stand and be recognized. Thank you for your time, thoughtful feedback. Thank you for your time, thoughtful feedback, and commitment to ensuring that our handbook supports students, families, and staff. Thank you all. The revised handbook focuses on accessibility, clarity, and alignment. It has been rebranded and reorganized with updated formatting, improved navigation, clear section labels, visual tools, and more practical resources. These changes support stronger family-school communication, consistent implementation across schools, and alignment with current law and school board policy. One major revision involves personal electronic devices. The handbook now reflects bell-to-bell expectations aligned with Virginia Senate Bill 108. The policy applies to smartphones, earbuds, tablets, smartwatches, and other connected devices. Students are expected to keep their devices off or silenced and out of sight during the school day, including transitions and lunch. In addition, references to technology use and social media have been updated to reflect current technology trends and communication platforms. Examples and definitions have been revised to provide greater clarity and clearer expectations, minimizing opportunities for misinterpretation when addressing inappropriate or disruptive technology use. To support consistent implementation across the division, discipline procedures related to personal electronic devices violations have been reorganized by elementary and secondary grade levels. We also clarified several safety and security expectations. Students may carry a small, non-transparent pouch or purse, approximately 5 by 7 inches, for personal or sensitive items such as hygiene products or medical necessities. These items remain subject to search. We also clarified that the student IDs are formally issued in kindergarten and 9th grade, and students in other grades should use their most recently issued ID. One new addition is the Elevate 2030 strategic plan. Including it helps families connect the handbook to the division's broader vision for academic excellence, student well-being, family engagement, workforce readiness, and positive learning environments. Because this handbook is widely distributed, it is an effective place to share that vision with students and families. We also added the Newport News Public Schools School Location Guide and Map. This provides families with a quick reference to schools across the division, which is especially helpful for families who are new to Newport News Public Schools, have students in multiple schools, or attend events at campuses outside of their assigned school. Another addition is a communication guide that helps families know where to begin when they have a question or concern. It identifies the appropriate starting point for issues related to instruction, student behavior, discipline and safety, or athletics. This supports timely responses, clear communication, and stronger family-school partnerships. The handbook now includes a multi-tiered systems of support, or MTSS, infographic. MTSS explains how schools support students academically, behaviorally, socially, and emotionally. The visual shows how universal supports are provided to all students and how targeted or intensive supports are added when needed. This helps families better understand how schools identify needs and support student success. We also added a division-wide behavior matrix. This matrix defines what it means for students to be safe, respectful, responsible, and ready to learn in settings such as classrooms, buses, hallways, cafeterias, and school events. It gives families and staff a shared language for teaching, reinforcing, and recognizing positive behavior. The new Parents' Rights and Responsibilities section recognizes the important role families play in a student's success. It outlines parents' rights to receive information, participate in their child's education, and communicate with school staff. It also highlights ways families can support attendance, communication, and expectations at home. The handbook also includes a discipline flow chart. This visual gives families a clear understanding of how schools respond to behavior concerns, beginning with classroom level interventions and moving to administrative involvement when needed. It reinforces that our approach emphasizes teaching, redirection, communication, problem solving, and support before a more significant discipline is considered. Schools may create branded versions, but the division framework remains consistent. At this time, the administration respectfully requests the school board support of the proposed revisions and additions to the 2026-2027 Rights and Responsibilities Handbook. This revised handbook reflects collaboration, clarity, consistency, legal alignment, and our shared commitment to safe, supportive schools for every student, family, and staff member. Thank you for your time and attention this evening. At this time, I am happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, and I think this book has everything. I really think it has everything. Any questions or comments? I will let Mr. Brown go first. Great job, though.
Yes.
Good job. Very
Yes,
good job.
Very good presentation, and I really appreciated the portion about number of students who don't receive any discipline at all. That's very good to see. Cell phones. So under this revision, students can still bring their cell phone to school as long as they keep it put away. Is that the provision?
Yes, bell to bell, the cell phones have to be silenced and out of sight.
Okay. So, but they can still bring it with them
Yes.
to school. Okay.
And I will say, in part, Mr. Brown, because we have a number of students who work after-school jobs, a number of students who are responsible for getting to their siblings, so they can't use it during the school day, but once they exit the building and they're able to turn it on, mom may say, I need you to go straight home from school because you need to get little Douglas from his bus, or whatever the case may be. But many of our students do work a job, and oftentimes their schedules are changed. I know our student rep works a job. So they can bring it, but they can't use it during the course of the school day.
Okay. And in terms of parent education, it's one thing to this great book, and what I find in talking with parents is that they have not necessarily read it, and then you're actually educating them on, this is actually in the Rights and Responsibility Handbook, and pointing them to it. So are there some planned education rollout communication classes that parents can have on the book so that they can get a little bit more orientation on the book prior to something happening with their child?
There are not any planned at this time, but that is something that Dr. Mitchell and I can discuss at a later date. The plan is to ensure that before schedules are released to parents are acknowledging that they have had an opportunity to review the handbook.
Right. Okay. And I'll ask the same question I ask every year, which is just electronic copy of the handbook I could have before the next meeting. Said that.
She said I have it and I'll send it.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Anyone else? Okay,
I do.
Ms. Hare.
Right here.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. No one-
Sorry. A
Amen.
couple of things. I like adding the additional information. I think that's great. I would say if you guys are looking at something for the upcoming year, you may want to look at all that's included and see if any of it can be streamlined. I could see as a parent it being, oh, which page do I go to for all this? But I think it's great. It's great. There just might be a little, still a little bit more for families to be able to chew a little bit more of it.
And Ms. Heyman, in the handbook this year, there is a general information section that gives brief descriptions of everything that is found in the handbook, and it refers either to the policy connected to that topic or the page that you can find further information in the handbook.
Oh, that's good.
And I will say to the cell phone point, it helps to have it on them because when they find out there's a celebration or a banquet right after school they didn't know about until they got in school, they can call the parents after the bell, and we're not sitting there waiting for them to get off a bus they didn't get onto. But the question on the electronic acknowledgement, I know as a parent, and maybe I missed something, I feel like I go on to parent view and I have to sign that I've gotten it or read it and understand it and agree with it, but it's like I have to do that to get to the schedule, and unless I want to take an hour to go through it, people are just going to sign it. So how do we ensure that parents can get a physical copy and or have time to look at it before you've got to check this before you can access your system?
So my department is responsible. We print 10% of the school's population in handbooks and have them delivered to the school before the school year starts.
Okay.
We also have the electronic version online at all times, and it is actually translated into 8 different languages online at all times.
Okay, and will there be like pop-ups or something, just a suggestion, like in parent view, because people might go on to see their kid's schedule or check on things, saying, hey, by X date, you're going to have to sign, you've seen this, so they don't pop up and all of a sudden, oh, I can't get access to this until because you can imagine seeing it, having to get access to something and not having a half an hour to go and look at it. So I'm just thinking, an early warning system, if you will, before a deadline.
Yes,
and tell them where to, like a link to get to that on the website.
Absolutely, I will work with our student information system department to make sure that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Amy. Ms. Alger.
Yes, a couple of things. First of all, I think it's tighter. The book is definitely tighter. I love the fact that there are resources. I was able to flip through resources for families if there's a crisis, who to contact, and so on and so forth. So I do believe that that's really good. Also, the fact that the Elevate 2030 is here and included. Because all of this is so that we can achieve those goals that we want. And I love the data that you included. It was slide number 4, where 74.1%. I mean, personally, I want 80 to 90. But you gave us information that we can grow from. And the more that we increase the percentages of students that are not getting referrals, who are making the right choices, the better we can improve our academic literacy and all of the workforce readiness and everything as far as our goals. So thank you for tying it all in and for giving us the information to help us measure success. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Amen. Mr. Osborne.
I just want to thank the committee. Thank you very, very much for your time and commitment to review it and read each page and say how it's meeting the needs or how it's not meeting the needs and making those recommendations. So we really do appreciate that. And we appreciate you coming tonight, too.
Thank you. I think Ms. Alger had something else.
Yeah, just one question. In here, appeal process, if a referral is refuted or let's say disciplinary action is refuted, is that process outlined in the handbook?
Yes, ma'am. There is a whole due process section in the handbook that explains the appeal process at each level.
For parents so that they know who to communicate and contact?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Then anyone? Anyone else? Then I have one. So under the searches, and again, I'm not sure if you can answer it, I'm just putting it out there in the universe. Let me see how I'm gonna ask this. Under these searches, how are the teachers trained on this book? That's my question, and that'll kind of address that. And in particular, the searches caught my attention because of recent incidents. And so just how does this, if I'm a teacher, how does this play into what I do? Can
Yes,
you
ma'am.
tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, ma'am. So each summer, my department does Administrators Academy with principals, assistant principals, and administrative assistants. The information that is provided there, they then turn, and during pre-service, one of the things that they should be doing is reviewing the Rights and Responsibilities Handbook with their teachers and staff who are in their building for that school year.
Okay, thank you. And then regarding, again, very thorough job. It is a lot, but I think I can just say it. We can't make people read this. We hope that every parent would read it time and time again. I read mine, I highlighted it as a parent and as an administrator, but we need to have it and make it as simple and friendly as possible. We encourage every parent to read it, to actually sit down with your students to review it, but in a real world, we can't make people read this book. So we're just hoping and praying that they do. And again, we appreciate all the work and the thought that went into it. So, thank you. I think
Thank
that's
you
it for
all.
questions. Thank you. Thank you. Moving on, the Section 5 reports and information. 5.03, the attendance report. Board members, you received a copy. Are there any questions? Thank you. 5.04, membership report. Board members, you've received a copy of this report. Are there any questions? Thank you. Moving on to 5.05, the construction report. Board members, you receive a copy of this report. Are there any questions? And hearing none, we will move on to item 5.06, comments by the superintendent. Dr. Mitchell.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I will be brief, but I do want to share that we celebrated graduation with our seniors and their families earlier this month. Kyla being one of them. We actually graduated 1,616 students across 6 high schools. One of the things that we are extremely proud of is the class of 2026 received approximately 2,500 college, university, or military institution acceptance offers, and they earned more than $77 million worth of scholarships. We are extremely proud of our students, our parents that may have helped their students, prod them on to go for those scholarships, as well as our staff that help support. In addition, one of the things that we are very strong at, and in comparison to maybe some other districts, the class of 2026 contributed 40,448 hours of community service. That's who our students are. I'm gonna give that number one more time in case you didn't hear it. 40,448 hours of community service from our seniors alone. It doesn't count other students that are doing community service. So we congratulate each and every one of them. We are proud of them, and we know that they're gonna do great things. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Mitchell. We'll now move on to item 6, another opportunity to hear from the public. Ms. Buffalo, are there any more cards? No, ma'am. All right, we'll move on to matters by the school board. And we're gonna, I think we're just gonna have closing remarks with our school board representative for the final, last time. And the floor is yours.
Thank you. It's such a bittersweet moment with this being my last time being up here. And to begin, I want to thank the board for giving me this opportunity. And I wouldn't really be where I am without the leadership. Oh, my mom's gonna make me cry. Sorry, guys. Don't look at Mom. Without this position, and I want to thank the Newport News community. I think there is no other community like it in the world. You will never find a place with such humility, grace, kindness, such as Newport News. And it's just been such a blessing to have this position this year. And I've gotten to meet so many wonderful leaders and people who have been my inspiration and role models. And I wouldn't have gotten that without this experience. And for the next student rep, Cameron Smith from Warwick, I really wish him luck on this journey and to really embrace it and take it to the fullest extent, because it's so unique and rare to have a voice where you can amplify others. So that's about it. Thank you guys all for your support. And yeah, those are my final comments.
Wow. And with that being said, this meeting is adjourned.